Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformer fan, and today on George Reviews we'll be taking a look at DC Multiverse Steppenwolf. He is from the 2021 Justice League movie dubbed as the Snyder's Cut, in which he received a much more detailed version of the armor, a much more badass version of the character, and a better version of the film, period. And now we actually have some good figures from that movie that were not made by Mattel. These are made for McFarlane. And with the dark tone to the DC universe, McFarlane's vision for toys, this is right up his alley. And here he is inside the window box packaging. You can see the entire toy in the packaging. You can see some comic book artwork in the background behind him. You can see a collector card back there. The same kind of boring stand all these figures come with. He comes with one accessory. He only had one accessory in the movie, which was his axe. But what is missing, what he had in the movie, were the mother boxes. There are no mother boxes in any of the figures from this wave, and sadly enough, he doesn't come with not one mother box at all. But again, here's the packaging. We got DC Multiverse down there, Steppenwolf, Justice League, or JL 2021, ages 12 and up right there. Bottom of the box, nothing. Top of the box, nothing. Side of the box says Steppenwolf, Justice League 2021, and here is the image from Steppenwolf from the movie on the back, and here are all the figures in this wave. Inside of the box, nothing again. We're going to get Steppenwolf open and check him out. Forget, you got to get the card out of these packages. And man, they got the card sealed in there very well. One collector's card for you and me, and one figure stand. Alright, let's get Steppenwolf out of this plastic. That's one waist tied on. These figures usually have just one. If you are an action figure person, the detail on his armor, when you walk past this figure, it makes you stop and look at it. And I guess these little feet are movie accurate because they are tiny compared to the rest of his body, and he is actually having a little bit trouble standing out of the box. And this is one spiky, prickly figure. I'm already poking my finger. You see these two dots? Man. And one energy. Well, I don't even know the name of his axe in the movie. Electron axe. Power axe. Just Steppenwolf's axe. Alright, let's take a look at Steppenwolf's collector's card. It's just an image from him from the movie. I believe this was on Paradise Island, the Amazons, early in the movie. It says Steppenwolf Justice League, flipping it over, Steppenwolf Justice League data file. Source, Justice League Director's Cut Film 2021. An 8-foot tall warrior from the Nightmare World apocalypse. Steppenwolf is general of the Apocalyptian army. With enhanced strength, agility, and endurance, Steppenwolf is a master of any weapon, but prefers to wield the electro axe to crush his opponents. So I guess I got that answer. So electro axe, highly detailed, looks just like the, I mean freaking just like the movie. Anyway, let's start with Steppenwolf. Alright, let us take a look at Mighty Steppenwolf. And as you can see, the armor and the sculpt of this figure is incredible. I'm spinning them around. These spikes are pretty hard, as you saw me taking them out of the box, poking me in the finger. They will give if you push down on them, but they're pretty spiky. And like the package says, 12 and up. And it's definitely for children 12 and up. I mean, it's just, the detail is just amazing. Around the back, around the corners. It just looks awesome. And in the movie, it kept moving and articulating on its own. And it looks like it would do that, even if I had never seen the movie. It looks like it's alive. And it looks great. The only gripe I have about the look of this figure is the movie version was very, very metallic looking, had like a shine to it, almost like a little rainbow shimmer to it. or whatever. And this looks like it's kind of weathered and beat up, like he's been outside in the rain for a long time. It looks more like a knight's armor. I mean, it did look like a knight's armor in the movie, but it looked like a very shiny, very wealthy knight, if that's a good way to put it. But man, a lot of detail in here, a lot of different layered pieces on the body of Steppenwolf. The little sash hanging down looks great. The little belt part, this is a separate piece right here, all the way around to the back. He has what looks like his back toes up on the back of his legs or whatever, like some animals. Never noticed that in the movie. I noticed a lot of things on this figure I never noticed in the movie, like his small feet and the 2 toes in the front. And he has a little bit of armor on each toe, which is crazy. Now I got to go back and watch the movie and pause it just to look at his toes. But that looks amazing. Speaking of looks, let's look at his face. Steppenwolf's face is done like a flat brown. His lips are a darker brown. He has brown eyes. Looks like he has brown eyes with some white in his eyes. The armor on his head, on his horns on his head is amazing. It's like it's the same. They didn't spare any detail or cheap out anywhere on this thing. He has spikes like underneath, which looks great. It's all one piece, one sculpt done on, looks like a ball joint in there, right in there. And the paint, what little paint's on here on his face looks great. He has like practically no nose, like Krillin. Looks awesome, really does. So I might as well, you know what, before I go into this articulation, let's take a look at his hand. I thought he had 8 fingers, looked like he had 7 fingers on each hand or at the wrist. I don't even know what you want to call it. Has some detail in the palm, looks great. Back of the hand has armor on the back of the hand. Coming to this hand, it's a gripping hand for his axe. So it's a lot different. It's weird how the fingers look, they almost look tangled up, how his hand functions. And that looks really weird. And in the movie, was he Darkseid's nephew? I think in the comics he's Darkseid's uncle, and in the movie is his nephew or something. They kind of switched it up for whatever reason. But his hands are different. It's like if they're like from the same species, shouldn't they look a lot similar? But I guess not. So anyway, let's run down the articulation. Let's check out that head. Head 360s on that joint. The joint in his neck, I moved it all around. It allows it to come forward and look down better. I may have did a little bit by accident, but you can move his head side to side, Egyptian style. But yeah, it does that, and I think that's really cool. Before I thought it was stuck on the scope, but you can get it to do that. See if it comes off, because it needs to come off. Here's that ball joint underneath. And speaking of his head, I wish we had got extra head package with this guy with the battle damage on the horn. When Superman like heat visioned the horn off, that would have been very, very cool to get a battle damage. Maybe they'll come out with another figure down the line that had a battle damage to the chest and the horn. I hope we get that. But that would have been awesome to pack that in, because at $40, the only thing he comes with is the Energy Axe and Electro Axe. But it's cool as hell. But, you know, I kind of wish he had a mother box. I'll get to that. But the only thing he came with was the axe. No interchangeable hands for these guys or nothing like that. We just got just the axe. But it doesn't take away from the beauty of this figure. So let me move on to his shoulders. Let me get this hinge. Man, like one side is a little bit more loose than the other one. And you can hear it popping and cracking as I try to move it. Let me get the shoulders out this far. He rotates on that shoulder and it feels a little loose in there. Just right here. Let me check this side. This side, yep, at the shoulder, it's a little loose, and that's kind of where you want to have it tight at. You can see the hinge right there for that shoulder, and it can sort of kind of 360, but it's hitting his armor plating up here, and it's very hard. It has absolutely no give to it. So I mean, you can get it down and get it 360 like that, and in and out like that as far as he'll come. He has a bicep swivel. I can see it. All right, it's not. Ooh, I'm hurting my finger trying to grip it to swivel the bicep, and I'm trying it on this side. I get the bicep to swivel over here, and yeah, and I'm getting poked and pricked everywhere. This is crazy, but I love it because it screams adult toy. He has a single hinge in here. You can see the ratchet in there. be able to see the ratchet. It's not a very strong ratchet. Coming over to this side, we can get it the ratchet right here. And coming to his wrist, you can see in the wrist right there, 360s at the wrist, and he has a hinge right here. And the armor painting goes through to the hinge, but when you flip it back this way, you can see the kind of broke up paint in his palm or whatever. But I guess you can't have it both ways. The armor comes all the way down to his thumb and all the way down to his knuckles, which looks great. We took a look at the hand, but this bicep, trying to get this bicep to turn. Probably have to heat it up. That thing is very tight, especially to have a loose shoulder joint like that. That's kind of crazy. Coming to his midsection right here, he has a midsection articulation where you get him rotate right here at like the abdomen. It really won't come forward because the top part is hitting the stomach, but it will go back that far, coming to his waist. The waist will 360 as well. It's kind of odd that they chose to put both in here and put them that close together. You think you might not need both. Coming to his legs, we get his legs this far out. Maybe a little bit more if it wasn't for the armor. But luckily this isn't that hard right here. But it's not moving that far in and out of the way. Right there. Get it back this far. And again, just hitting the armor. You can see how much range of motion we get out of that. Coming to the front. This is what we got in the front. Hope he can kneel down. And he has a bit of a swivel at the top. Looks like a little odd little joint in there. It does both. And it 360s all the way around. I really didn't do that on purpose, but I felt it doing it. He bends at the knee. His knee sculpt is very well hidden. This pin right here is very well hidden too. It actually looks great. Bent and closed, which is cool. And coming to his ankle, he has some front and back. And no side to side I can feel unless it needs to be heated up. Then the toes, the two toes, individually articulate, which is insane. You go ahead, McFarlane. That's pretty cool. That's insane. I'm having trouble getting this arm to rest as far down as this one is, as close to the body. So I'm going to heat this up to see if I can get this joint down and see if I can get this to unfreeze before I move on. So give me a second. All right, so I heated up Mighty Steppenwolf and I got that shoulder free. And I'd rather had put it in some hot water, but I didn't want to dunk the whole upper half of the body and have water running all through the toy. And all these little things went very, very soft. Hope they return back to the original state. And this arm, for whatever reason, the way it's laying, the way it's sculpted, it doesn't come as close to the body as the other arm. But I got it down a little bit more. So let's move on to his electro axe. See if we can get it in his hand. And because of the nature of McFarlane's plastic that they use, I don't know, man, it's going to be a chore to get it in that hand. Does it go straight down or does it go sideways? I'm going to try to push it straight through. Get it in his hand. I think we already took a look at the axe. I think when I first took it out of the box, because I was impressed by the scope. So here it is in his hand. And yeah, that shoulder, a little loose. Even before, I don't know if it's the effect of me heating it up, but it was loose earlier. It might be more. Okay, he can kind of hold it. See, jar him a little bit. Oh, he's dropping it. And I know you can tighten it up, but it was loose earlier. So maybe get back to form a little bit later. All right, got the axe in both of his hands. I got him standing up. And what I don't think we can do is cock it back over his head and maintain two hands, because like the armor is so tight coming up. We can't really get him rearing back to kill Amazon women with a double-handed swing. So you can just kind of get it in front of him a little bit, but as far as coming down for a killing stroke with two hands, that is not going to happen. And that's a little bit of a bummer. Beautiful scope, but nothing. He could have really used the butterfly, but I guess we would have lost the spike. So I mean, you know, guess there's a sacrifice somewhere in there, you know. But great looking figure. So I want to move on to the size up and a rundown. All right, to kick off the size up and a rundown, here he is with fellow Lackey Beastman from Master of the Universe Origins toy line. Fellow Lackey Sabretooth from Marvel Legends. Another Marvel Legend BAF Cull Obsidian. Transformers Masterpiece Shockwave. Here he is with the Master himself, Armored Darkseid. And last but not least, fellow Wolf, Weird Wolf. While I was doing my size up and rundown on Steppenwolf, I stopped to do photo shoots that I put in at the end during that portion of my video, I noticed this arm is just loose. Like you extend the arm. Okay, now what I want to show you won't do it, but yeah, he'll just drop the axe. And I'm sure I can build that up, but it's loose. He has the chopping action from the 80s Steppenwolf, and you squeeze their legs, and he would just. Anyway, this arm isn't much better. He's just not holding an axe. With the articulation, I couldn't get the hands, the arms across the body to get a lot of poses. And I said earlier, you really can't get a lot of two-hand poses out of him because of the bulk of the articulation and the spikes, which he kind of suffered from a little bit, but I'm not that bummed out about it. But I just wish he could do a little bit more. I love the poses that he can pull off. A few times it took a little work to get him to stand up because those feet are so tiny. Depending on the stance, you kind of work to get him in some action poses, but it does work. He looks great. This is the best figure I've seen from McFarlane, period. This might be one of the best figures I've seen this year, hands down. It is an awesomely sculpted figure. I don't know who sculpted, but everybody always blows the horn for the Four Horsemen. Man, whoever sculpted this figure, McFarlane himself, his team, whatever, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous sculpt. It looks amazing. They absolutely nailed it. The only thing he doesn't have, like the chromy shimmer to it from the movie, but it is fantastic. And what I wish this guy had, I wish he came with like at least one mother box of hell. In my opinion, he should have came with all three. All right, I kind of got done with the review, but I did want to shoehorn some more commentary in. I didn't get a chance to talk about the energy axe and what I wish they had did with that. I wish we got an energy effect for the energy axe. I stole this from Storm. You can put on here, and if not an energy effect, a paint job, because when he was swinging in the Snyder's cut, which separates his axe from the Whedon cut, or they could have did like Cyborg's chest and put a paint app in here to show that it lit up and powered up when he used it. And that would have been cool if we got the energy effect. And while I'm running down my wish list for what they woulda, coulda, shoulda done, I wouldn't. The sculpt is so good, I would not mind buying it again. If they could give us, like I said, the alternate head version, a better, more metallic, chromy-like finish to the paint job. No, they're not gonna back metal it, but you know, just a better finish to the paint job, and even a version where the armor is drawn back, like when he bowed down to Darkseid. I would love to have that with the I guess that would give us another head too, where the armor came off the head and the shoulders. I thought that was very cool in the movie. And I guess that's pretty much all I got to say about this figure. I really like it. You should really pick it up if you don't have it. And I want to thank everybody out there for watching this episode of George Reviews. The reviews of every toy has a story.